Hello, this is Bruno with Linguistic Team International. In this tutorial, we're going to explore how to create a .sub account, how we use .sub to translate videos, and the basics on how Linguistic Team International handles video materials. First, let's see how to register a user account on .sub. We'll use our favorite web browser to go to .sub.com. On the main page, we'll see a register button at the top of the page, which, when clicked, will take us to a registration form. The important fields in this form are the username and password, which will be used to log into .sub, and our email address, which we'll use to validate the account. Before submitting the form, we can read the .sub terms of use. We then tick the box stating that we agree with its terms, and we can click on Sign Up to complete the registration process. .sub will send a confirmation email containing a link that we'll use to validate the account. We'll then be able to log in using the username and password that were provided in the registration form. We need to be logged in order to see which translations are available for any given video. To log in, click on the Sign In button at the top of the page. We then type our username and password and click on Login. .sub will then display a clickable menu on top of the page which indicates that we're indeed logged in. Now that we're ready to translate with .sub, let's examine the main page for a given video, which contains various sets of panels. On the video panel, we can watch the video with its available subtitles. On the right-hand side of the window, we have a full description of the video. Below that is the interesting stuff for translators, the Translate and Transcribe panel. We'll get access to the translation by selecting the language on the Language menu and by clicking on Translate. If your language isn't present on the list, however, it means that the coordinator for that language decided to give access to the video to particular users, either because the video has entered the proofreading stage and the coordinator wants to monitor access to the video more closely, or simply because it has been fully translated and proofread, in which case coordinators usually give access only to themselves. If the language is available and we click on Translate, .sub takes us to the translation page for that video. From here, just like in the main video page, there's the video on the left, except this time we have the subtitle text on the right. In order to translate, all we have to do is to click on the line to translate, input the translation, and type Enter to save it. Notice that it takes some time for .sub to validate the translated line, but when it appears in blue, it means that .sub saved it as the translation for that line in that language. It goes without a say that anyone with permissions on this video can come back and change the translation at will, but rest assured that the translation is saved from the moment we type Enter. Once we're done, we click on Back to Video or simply close the window. The translation will remain as we left it. As translators work on a given video, .sub will display their current progress using a percentage indicator per language, which of course reaches 100% when the translation is complete. Now that we've discovered how .sub works, let's examine the translation process here at Linguistic Team International. For any video material entering the system, 2 copies of the video are made, which means we'll always see 2 versions of it when we browse through the LTI official channel. The main copy is what we call the working location. This is the video where all language teams get to work. This is why the link for this video must not be shared, because it usually contains partially translated videos whose quality hasn't always been ascertained. Sometimes an unknown volunteer comes in and starts translating, but his or her presence hasn't been taken into account by the community, and so the quality of the translation is not guaranteed. That is why we have a second copy of the same video that we call the repository location. This is the location where all fully translated and proofread translations are added. The subtitles we see in this version of the video are ready to be shared. What that means for translators is that they will never have to pay attention to these repository versions other than to check whether a translation has been fully proofread. We can go over to the repository location, see the list of translations that are there, and figure out whether a given translation team has completed the project. Now the question is, how do we make the difference between the working location and the repository location? Very simple. The repository location video always contains repository in brackets at the end of its title. Of course, if a given language doesn't appear in the repository location, it means that this language team hasn't finished translating or proofreading it, in which case they might need your help. One last thing. If you're interested in participating in the translation effort, please check out the description section of this video, where you'll find all the resources you need to get started.
This is a short tutorial on how to use Overstream, a free online offering for making and synchronizing subtitles to videos that are already posted online via a free web hosting like YouTube or Metacafe. You just need to register and make an account with Overstream to get started. First off, make an account. It will require a username and password, and a confirmation email will be sent to you to begin your account. Choose Register for an account and fill out the form. Now you can log into Overstream. This will require your newly made username and password. Input them in the required boxes and then log in. So, from the home page of Overstream, you have a few choices, but the one you want to concentrate on first is Create Overstream. Click on this link and it will bring up a new page. First there will be a pop-up that will ask you for the URL of the video you wish to subtitle. Simply copy the URL from your browser's address bar and paste it into the field provided. Then choose OK. At this point, you have a chart on the main screen. On the left-hand side is your video, and on the right-hand side is the table where you put in your subtitles. Push play, which looks like a triangle, to start your video, then stop, this square just to the left of it, to stop it. When you reach a sound or words, you stop the video, and on the right-hand side you would then choose Add to start your first subtitle. The default timing for your subtitle is 3 seconds, which can be adjusted manually if you need. You can line up the beginnings and ends of your subtitles using the timing arrows just under the video timeline. Now your number one rule, don't forget to save. A lot of work can be put into simply a few minutes of video, and you'll be incredibly sad if you lose all that work. So save often. So choose Save above the subtitle editor, and you're going to want to name your piece to be saved as. And it may take a moment to process, so be patient. Now that you have saved, you can have access to a new choice on the main screen, Generate Link to Overstream. You choose this option when you're all finished with your video. You can now choose the URL from Overstream, copy it, play it, or email it to a friend. Your subtitled video is now available to watch.